Hello and welcome to another how-to from Socially Awkward Stitching Society. You asked, we answered. I put up a poll a couple weeks ago in our Facebook group asking what are the small hoop designs you most want, and the number one item that you voted for was bun holders. So we've got our first one that we've just released and we have many more to come. This is based on our twisted heart design, and we decided to go with this one first. This is a super quick stitch. So if you are making items to sell at a craft fair and you need to make a whole bunch, this is going to go really quickly. I think on my machine, which was set to 600 stitches per minute, this took like 3 minutes. So it's a super quick stitch. So I wanted to make a special shout out to Boxer Craft House for this vinyl that I used for this sample. I'm not sure how well it communicates on video, but this is a wonderful faux leather that actually looks like leather. And so I found them through one of my test stitchers who loves them, and I made an order, and I have loved everything I've received from them. I'm going to link them and this specific leather down in the comments so you can find it. This is, I have only done a little bit with this particular bit from them so far. It is very soft. It's a little stretchy in one dimension, so if you're doing a denser design, you're going to want to up your game with your stabilizer to be a cutaway. But this give and softness and stretchiness also makes it wonderful for turn bags. So this is going to be a quick video. Let's get started. All right, so let's take a look at our color changes. Right here we've got our applique position, which is what I've stitched out here. I've hooped up with a tearaway stabilizer since this is a fairly light design, and I have gone ahead and stitched stop 1. This is going to show us the area that we need to cover with our material to make our bun holder. The next stop is going to actually stitch the heart design on it. And then the final stop is where we're going to attach a backing. So I have a square of this wonderful leatherette that I'm going to use to make this bun holder. This will be the front, and then this will be the backing. I'm choosing to use a felt because it will hold on my hair better, and unlike a vinyl or something which might slide around. So that's why I'm going to use felt. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in here, and I think I'm going to lay it in like this. But what I'm going to do, because I'm using the round hoop for my multi-needle, if you're using a regular square hoop, 4x4 hoop, you will probably have room to just plop this in here. I'm just going to nip off these corners so I don't have to fight to have that laying smoothly. Let's see if that works. Yes. Okay. I'll do that here too. This is me being a little fussy, but I don't want anything that can make this move around in the hoop because I want to do it right the first time. All right. There we go. Okay. So there you go. I'm going to pop a little bit of tape down just to keep that from sliding around while I'm getting the hoop on the machine. I'm just going to put that there, just enough to keep it in place. Because I'm on my big machine and the presser feet ride really high, I don't have to worry too much about it getting scooped up like I would if I was using my Janome. But I still want it in there just so when I'm handling it, it doesn't slip around. So I'm going to go stitch stop 2, and then I will be back to show you how I attach the back. Okay, did stop 2. There we go. Now, depending on your design of your bun cover, you may have more stops than this to run for the design. The thing to remember is that your very first one will be done on stabilizer, and your very last one is where you attach the backing. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to place my felt over the design here. I think I'm going to tip it just a little bit. This is like a 5-inch square, just to make sure that all of those edges are amply covered. The beauty of felt as a backing too is that you don't have to worry about it sticking. If you're using a single needle, you don't have to worry about it sticking to the bed of your machine like sometimes will happen with some of the glitter vinyls and the other stickier vinyls. Just need to combat gravity here. All right. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out my bobbin for black, just so that the bobbin thread blends into this backing. It's not really going to matter, but it matters to me a little bit. So I just like the neat finish of having the same color thread on top and bobbin. So I'm going to go stitch this last stop, and I'll be right back. All right. I've stitched the final stop, which attaches our backing, and I did switch out my bobbin thread so that it blends with the back. I'm going to pop it out now and show you how I cut these out. There we go. I taped that a little securely, I guess. Whoop. Probably could have used the next size hoop up. All right, there we go. Now, if you're using a denser design, you may want to use a cutaway with this. I used a tearaway because this is such a light design that I knew that it would be stable enough to handle it, but it's not. This vinyl is a little stretchy in this direction, so there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to be aware that if you're going to put a dense design on this, it's probably going to do better with a medium cutaway. All right. So I like to go in with my fingers and just kind of crease the along the stitching on the tearaway. I think it tears a little cleaner that way. There we go. All right, let's cut it out. This is always a little tricky to do under the camera because I have to kind of lean forward and I can't get my head right over what I'm doing, but let's give it a shot here. So I like to kind of rough cut around the edges, just cut off any excess. This isn't too bad, but if you've got something in a larger hoop, you may have quite a bit of material around the edges, which can make it kind of hard to maneuver. I'm using my duckbill applique scissors, and I'm just going to kind of come in and decide how far away I want this, and then try to make that consistent. The distance away is not as important as trying to keep it consistent. And I'm turning the object, not my scissors. I like to overcut just a little bit when I come to a corner like this. You can kind of go back and clean them up, so don't worry too much about whether you've gotten all the way into that corner. The important thing on curves is just to try to move as fluidly as possible. It's better to have a little variation like that than to get herky-jerky with it because you're trying to over-control it. And like anything else, this gets so much better with practice, so just be patient with yourself. If you really scrutinize even the best trimmers of this sort of thing, you'll see variation and you'll see little oopsies. You know, you don't want to get so wrapped up in having it perfect that it's not fun anymore. We got enough of that in our lives. All right, there we go. I gotta say, this vinyl cuts like, oh, it's so smooth. Um, I've worked with some vinyls that, you know, as you're cutting them, you can kind of almost feel that there's some difference in the in how resistant they are. This is just really smooth and easy to cut. There we go. All right. Not bad at all. Okay. So I can see that I've got a little bit of felt kind of showing there. So I'm just going to come in here and kind of shave it like that. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, trim some threads back here. There we go. All right, now I'm going to punch some holes in here. The largest hole puncher, the largest punch, I guess you'd say, on my hole punch fits really nicely in here. The thing you want to be careful of is make sure that you've got vinyl all the way around that you can still see. You don't want to nip those threads because then your eyelet will come undone. You don't want that. So there's still some vinyl in between the hole and my satin stitch there. Easier to see on some things than others. I think one of the things this vinyl would really be good for is anything that's turned. I haven't tried it yet, but it is so soft that I think it would turn pretty well for turned bags and that sort of thing. I'll have to play with that and let you know what I find out. All right, easy peasy. And for the stick, you can actually, I bought this off Amazon. You can use a chopstick. You can use purchase hair sticks. One of my testers used an orange stick like you use to push back your cuticles, which I thought was pretty genius. So you can get adventuresome in what you use for these. All right, and there we have it. So how easy was that? If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions about machine embroidery, you can always hit me up in the comments because I love answering your questions. I'm also putting the link again for Boxer Craft House for this wonderful vinyl, as well as our Facebook group where you're going to hear about sales, new releases, and freebies first. And stay tuned, I've got more bun holders coming your way.